Happy that everything worked out. That usually doesn't happen with these Reddit stories. Well done to the mom giving back that money. That second to last comment where they talked about taking pictures. She seems to know that he did this before, or at least had experience of it. And it also shows, even with good parenting, a child that turns into a dog can still become an a-hole. What a POS that guy was. It's really good that she left. Hello my fellow Toasties. Today we're gonna read the best of Redditor updates, so we get to see how things resolved, the conclusions, the endings, things that finally give us closure. My 24 female boyfriend 26 male found a secret of mine and won't leave me alone because of it. I'm a writer, a serious writer who got her first book published and a few poems that made its way to the local paper. I make a living out of it. I also have a very secret blog that I use to publish fanfiction under a pseudonym. I know when we mention fanfiction, the first thing that comes to the mind is that I am an obsessed fangirl who writes countless OCs, and all of them are in love with an alter ego of myself and blah blah. No, I just really like exploring my favorite characters and the universe they live in. If I'm reading a book, playing a game, watching a movie, I sometimes think, what if? And I write it out. It's been a secret for a long while now. It used to be. My boyfriend found my blog when I forgot to clear out my history on my laptop. I don't hide stuff from him. It's just a habit I picked up when I was a child and hit that curious about corn phase. We had a family computer and if I didn't clear my history, I'd get caught, so I always do this. He's been mocking me for it. I'm not fragile. I can take a mocking every now and then if I know it's not really malicious. My boyfriend, on the other hand, keeps laughing and making jokes about me being a Tumblr girl, about me wanting to be with those characters and so on. It's to the point he read a few and started nitpicking and making fun of some of it. I talked to him, he dismissed me. I finally snapped yesterday when he came over and I was writing again for the local paper. He said, "Writing your weird smut fanfiction, fangirl?" He meant it as a joke. He laughed, but I was already so cranky that I told him to leave. He looked at me puzzled and said he was kidding, but I kicked him out. English is not my native language. I started learning English when I was 9 years old because there's no one to read fanfiction of a particular fandom I was into in my native language. Because of it, I discovered how much I love writing. Because of it, I learned English, and it saved my life when I needed a job but was inexperienced in a lot of things. But man, I could speak and write English fluently, and all thanks to writing fanfiction. It means a lot to me, and I'm not hurt that most people think it's silly and make fun of fanfiction writers. I am hurt because the boy I love is being horrible about it, and I'm this close to breaking up. I don't deserve to be mocked for something I like, especially when I don't judge him for the stuff he likes. He wants to come over, but he doesn't think he's wrong, and he doesn't see how his behavior is hurting me. I learned a long time ago not to be ashamed of things that bring me joy, especially when times are hard enough already. But it hurts so much that my boyfriend thinks I'm a loser, and I don't know what to do. I'm starting to see him differently.
A few inches later.
Edit, this blew up in the way I didn't expect. I want to answer everyone and I'll try to, but to clear some things up. I don't think my boyfriend was snooping. I always clear my history out of habit, and this time I left it there. It most likely came up in the search bar since he told me he just found it there. The problem is not my sense of humor. It's the fact that when I told him I wrote fics and came clean about it, I was laughing with him. Then the mockery started, and for the next few days I was a crazy fangirl in his eyes and wouldn't let it go. That is not someone having a sense of humor, that's someone I love being hurtful towards me on purpose, even though I told him to knock it off. We're currently not talking. He thinks I'm being overly sensitive, and I'm here reading your replies. I haven't let him come to my house yet, and I won't until I can think of something to tell him. I already have something in my head thanks to you guys. This is the first time I see my boyfriend acting this way. I wouldn't be with him if he had been like this since the start. This is the first time, and it's probably why I'm so shocked here. I'm hurt. A joke or two, fine. Straight up mean mockery, nope. I don't know if he got jealous. I don't know if the content of the stories bothered him. I don't know. I plan on finding out though.
2,000 years later.
Edit 2, I'm meeting with him later today. We're gonna talk. But again, to clear up any confusion, I did not kick him out completely out of nowhere. He was not confused why I snapped. When he started teasing, it was okay for the first couple of times. Then he started mocking and reading the fics just to make fun of it. He'd read parts back to me while laughing and making fun of me in a way that wasn't a joke, or him seeing me as one of the guys.
Day 2.
Another update. I want to start this by clearing up some confusion. He and I have teased each other before. I tease my best friend and she teases me back. back. Stupid trash teasing. I still have some of my earliest fics in English, and my grammar was awful, really awful, with sentences like, and he tried to think not about her. She throws that sentence back at me all the time, and it's always in good heart. It's always in a, oh gosh, look at the shit you used to write, and look at you now. This is not what happened with my significant other and I. He went out of his way to make me uncomfortable and hurt. This is why I came here for help. So I met him the day after so we could talk. He was pissed because I kicked him out. I was pissed because of his behavior. We went home and I straight up asked why my fics bothered him so much. He kept saying it didn't, that it was just having fun and all, and I explained to him how he made me feel. He snorted. I told him that if he wasn't going to take this seriously, then he could leave again and not come back. After a while and a brief discussion about him being incredulous that I was so upset over nothing, he finally told me the real reason behind his actions, that he doesn't feel comfortable with me writing spicy scenes. This came out of nowhere, and even when this issue was discussed here, I was like, nah, he would never have a problem with it. He even praised the one in my book. Ha, well, I asked him exactly that. Why did he praise the one in my book? Why did he encourage me to write more of it? He said he hadn't stopped to think about the consequences, that when I wrote it in my book, he didn't know or see how many people enjoyed it. When he read the ones in my blog, he could see how many people reblogged it. He could see the comments, he could see everything, and it bothered him because I was his girlfriend. Okay, I asked him what he meant by that, and he said I was putting myself out there by writing this stuff. I held back the urge to snap and calmly asked him again what the hell he meant by that. He said he knew how guys think, and that they were seeing how easy I was, and I would soon be getting stalkers because I quote, I like, isn't that lovely? He quickly tried to fix it to tell me he didn't mean it like that. He meant that I write detailed and explicit scenes that might give people the wrong idea. I asked him if I gave him the wrong idea when we have spicy sessions, and he just shuts up. I think he realized then how much of an idiot he was because he started apologizing. I just ended it. I ended it and changed my blog's URL. He's been calling and texting me nonstop that he's sorry, but I can't look at him the same way. Even if I ever forgive him, just know, I like spicy, that makes me but that's not a problem when I'm having spicy with him. I'm just heartbroken over this. I don't know, this came out of nowhere. Before breaking up, he said everything would be okay if I just never wrote about spicy sessions. I mean, really? No, I like it. I like writing about spicy sessions. I like writing about fics. I like it. It pays my bills, so screw that. But in his mind, if I stopped writing about spicy sessions, then he wouldn't feel insecure and wouldn't lash out like this. Before I give my 2 cents, let's see what the responses are. Here's the thing about playful teasing, it only works when the other party's into it. If they don't like it and you're teasing anyway, you're not being affectionate, you're being a bully. I had a feeling it was incessant teasing. And yes, it can get old fast, like yeah, we get it. You think you're better than, or this thing is stupid. Move on. It's not about lack of humor. All jokes get old sometimes. How long is a broken record supposed to be funny? Yeah, she did the right thing and left him. You shouldn't be with anyone that doesn't support you. And yeah, in the end, it's incessant bullying. It really was a him problem, as he even admitted that the spicy scenes makes him feel insecure. And there's a saying that the people that joke a lot, that say that I'm just joking or kidding,
I'm just kidding,
do it so they can lead themselves out and then gaslight you that you just don't have a sense of humor or something, which is simply not the case here. Even if my partner was doing something like OnlyFans, if that what makes her happy and that's what she wants to do, that's just absolutely fine with me. You're supposed to support your partner, not tear them down. Okay, on to the next one. My boyfriend, 28 male, has been collecting my 24 females rent for a free house. I've been living with my boyfriend for a year. I'm a graduate student and have very little income. I'm very upset about this, but my boyfriend said he was trying to do something nice. My boyfriend and I moved in together to a house that he found. He arranged all the landlord stuff and told me to send $1,000 a month to the landlord's bank account. This is a very normal rent for our area, but I could have probably spent less if I lived in an apartment. I've been doing so for the last year, only to find out yesterday from his mom that his parents actually own the house and they aren't charging us rent. Upon hearing this, I asked my boyfriend about the $13,000 that he had me send to some account, and he told me that he was doing it for me as a gift to get back later so he could see how much I've saved. I'm livid. I'm not irresponsible with money, and I have no debt, and even some savings. Over the last year, there have been things I've had to miss out on because they just weren't financially feasible without this money. There have been times when I couldn't get my tires replaced, or I couldn't get a new blazer to replace my threadbare one, so my boyfriend got to swoop in and save the day. It always made me feel so bad that he could live just fine on his salary, not that much higher than mine, but I couldn't live well on mine. Now I know it's because he was spending $1,000 less than I was every month. I don't know what to do. I feel upset and uncomfortable about the whole situation, but my boyfriend won't listen to me. He keeps saying that this was supposed to be a surprise gift, and I'm taking it the wrong way. I don't know what to think. Am I overreacting? Absolutely not overreacting. I think your boyfriend's definitely stealing from you, but let's see what the comments say. You aren't overreacting, he broke your trust and doesn't really respect you if it's true. I'd ask for the money back now. How do you know he even still has it really? This would be relationship ending in my book. He's treating you like a child, not a partner. Did you sign a lease of any sort? If not, your boyfriend was charging you $1,000 per month in rent. It doesn't matter if he was not being charged rent himself. Shouldn't this post say ex-boyfriend? OOP says, the lease doesn't say anything about rent. I looked back at it and it basically says that he won't trash the house or move other people in. His parents didn't know any of this, as far as I know. It's their house, not mine soon-to-be ex-boyfriend's. So there was a lease and you have it in writing, and it says the apartment is being rented to both of you, rent-free, and you and your boyfriend both signed it? OOP says, the lease just says nothing about rent. His mom is the owner of the house, and I have a message from her saying that she wasn't being paid rent, and neither of us was being charged. He extorted you, get the F out. His reasoning is a lie to obfuscate what he actually did. I figured this merited an update. I told my ex-boyfriend I was moving out with or without the money, and he told me that if I left him, he could keep the gift for himself. I told him whatever, and called his mother and told her I was leaving. She asked why and I told her the whole story. She asked me to give her a few minutes and then she would get back to me. I heard her calling my ex on the other room and could hear her yelling at him through the phone. She called me back and told me to take pictures of the room, sent them to her, and she gave me the all clear over text. She also sent me an apology for my ex's behavior. I left and I thought that was that. A few days later, got a check in the mail for $15,000 from my ex's mom. Not exactly just because the original money was indeed probably gone, but I walked away feeling pretty good about the whole thing. It's significant that mom asked OP to take pictures of the room before she walked out. It shows mom anticipated that the ex would trash the house and claim that OP did it. I wonder if mom had experience of ex doing something similar in the past. He was doing it for me as a gift to save back later so I could see how much I saved. He was never giving that money back until he got caught. I'm so happy that everything worked out. That usually doesn't happen with these Reddit stories. Well done to the mom giving back that money. That second to last comment where they talked about taking pictures, she seems to know that he did this before, or at least have experience of it. And it also shows, even with good parenting, a child that turns into a dog can still become an a-hole. What a POS that guy was. It's really good that she left him. My husband's childhood best friend asked me for a favor, then humiliated me in front of her family. I'm done being the bigger person. I've been sitting on this for a few days, trying to decide if I'm just being dramatic or if I've been letting too much slide for too long. So I, 30 female, have been happily married for a few years now. My husband, 31 male, is honestly a gem. Kind, patient, hilarious, loyal, basically everything you want. Which, after having an ex cheat on me with his best friend, is kind of a big deal. That relationship wrecked me for a while, but I worked hard not to drag the wreckage into something new. And thankfully my husband's never given me a single reason to question him. Until now, maybe? I don't know. My husband and I have a great relationship, and we're pretty social, and often hang out with each other's friends. I get along with almost all of his group, and they've honestly made me feel welcome, except for her. Oh no! His childhood best friend, let's call her Claire. Claire has always been cold to me. Not outright rude, just subtle enough to make me feel crazy for noticing. You know, that kind of vibe. Every time we've been in the same room, she's managed to talk around me. I tried, I really did. I smiled, I made conversations, but nothing but warm. Even when she gives me nothing to work with. She doesn't show up to group hangouts, but she'll invite him over. And he always tells me, to his credit, he never goes without mentioning it. And he's never weird or secretive about her, but it still rubs me the wrong way. I've tried being friendly, I've tried small talk, hell, I invited to our birthdays, barbecues, engagement dinners, she bailed it on all. She skipped on our wedding too, and she only ever seems to reach out to him, usually when she's being dumped and needs to talk. When I brought it up, my husband says I'm overthinking it, that Claire is just a little odd socially. Maybe she is. Then, a few weeks ago, out of nowhere, she messaged me. She asked if I'll model for her project. Totally unexpected. And I was caught off guard enough to say yes. Part of me thought, maybe this is her trying to connect. Maybe this is her olive branch. I even felt a little hopeful. God, I was naive. So I agreed. My husband offered to come with me since he hadn't seen her in a while, and I thought it'd be fun to catch up after. But when we got there, her family was also involved. And from the second I walked in, it was like stepping into some passive-aggressive twilight zone. Her mom and sister kept calling my husband our son-in-law. I laughed awkwardly. Think I must have misheard. It only got worse. During the shoot came more snarky comments, jokes about the one that got away, and some bonds never fade. Her mom at one point literally said, "We always thought Claire would end up with him, but life has its detours, I guess." Claire always imagined walking down the aisle with him. And then, it's sweet of her to fill in though. Oh, come on. I wish I was exaggerating. And Claire just kept snapping pictures, smiling, saying nothing. No, hey, cut it out. no awkward laugh, no redirect, nothing. My husband, clearly uncomfortable, I watched him fidget through the whole thing, clear his throat a few times. He tried to change the subject or came nearby me during the shoot. He didn't say much either, just went kind of quiet. I stuck it out for an hour, let her take photos, smile, post, whatever. But the whole time I felt like I was part of a social experiment, and everyone else was in on the joke but me. When we got in the car, he was silent for a while, then finally said, "Sorry about all." That was weird, right? And honestly, I didn't even know what to say. Because yeah, it was weird. It was borderline disrespectful. And the fact that he was there too, saw all of it, clearly felt it too, and still didn't step in or pull the plug, it makes me feel kind of alone in this. I'm just tired. Tired of pretending this woman is harmless. Or just awkward. She knows exactly what she's doing. I don't want to start a huge fight, but I'm at a point where I don't want her in our lives. Not as a friend. Not as a ghost in the corner of our marriage. No more bending over backwards to be the cool wife. I am not interested in earning points with someone who clearly doesn't want me around. Anyway, thanks for letting me scream into the void for a minute. I really need to get this out.
6.5 hours later.
Edit. Sorry guys, English is not my first or even my second language. Sometimes it's harder to get my point feelings across. Just to clarify a few things people were asking about. Claire is actually a photography major, and this shoot was part of her final project. I'm not a professional model or anything, but I've done some hobby modeling here and there. So when she asked if I'd help out, I thought it was a casual favor. Why at her house? She comes from a wealthy family and has a fully set up photo studio in their house, which is why the shoot happened there instead of a regular studio. I honestly thought it would just be her and the camera, not a full audience with drinks and commentary. Additional background. I grew up in a pretty emotional, abusive household, so I think I've gotten used to the passive-aggressive comments and just sort of freeze up. Maybe that's why I didn't react more in the moment, but yeah, it definitely hit harder after the fact. I'll update you as soon as possible.
A few inches later.
First off, holy crap, I did not expect that to blow up like it did. Thank you to everyone who commented, messaged, or made me just feel like I wasn't losing my mind. So many of you asked for an update, and here it is. For those wondering, no, they never dated. He had a high school crush over a decade ago. That's ancient history. No, I don't think he ever cheated emotionally or physically. He's always very open and honest. We have each other's passwords. They barely see each other anymore in person, maybe once every few months. We live about 2 hours away. Funny enough, I didn't even get a chance to sit down and talk with my husband before something else happened. I just can't believe my life at the moment. Anyway, I was still trying to process what happened and sort through my anger towards Claire and honestly towards my husband too. That's when I got a message from my sister-in-law. We'll call her Madeline. I'm really close with Madeline. She's also part of the wider social circle that Claire floats around in. They're friendly, but not close. She sent me a screen recording from Claire's close friend's story with a simple WTF. It was a clip of me posing during the shoot, no music. But in the background, you can clearly hear Claire's sister say Claire should have been the one to marry him. I lost it. I waited until my husband got home from work, sat him down, and showed him the video. He watched it once, then again. His whole face changed. He finally looked pissed. I couldn't help but think why he didn't have the same reaction there. So I laid it all out. I told him everything. Every snide comment, every time Claire made me feel small, how I always tried to be civil, how I never asked him to choose between us. But I was done being polite while someone constantly disrespected me. I told him, if this doesn't bother you enough to act, we've got bigger problems. I'm not going to be in a match where I have to beg to be defended. I need a partner who stands up for me, and if that's not you, then I think we need to rethink this. He didn't argue, he didn't get defensive, and I know he feels sorry. Then I showed him the Reddit post. He tried to read every comment. Some of them made him tear up. When he finished, he looked at me and said he feels like the worst husband. He let this happen right in front of him. He is so sorry. And he asked me, what do you need from me now? I told him straight up, this isn't about her anymore. It's about whether or not you're willing to protect this marriage. But I'm not going to feel like second place in my own relationship, so it's either me or her. So he called Claire. She picked up cheerfully, acting like nothing had happened. We brought up the video. She immediately got defensive. Oh, come on, it's just a joke. Are you really mad over that? What? Seriously? And that's when he stepped in. This isn't just about the video. It's the constant disrespect towards my wife. I didn't see anything before because I didn't want to lose your friendship, and I convinced myself you didn't mean it. But what happened at that shoot? That was disgusting. My wife came to support you, and you and your family treated her like a joke. I didn't speak up then, and I'm ashamed of that. But this ends now. I don't even know why I held on to this relationship for so long. If you can't respect my wife, you don't respect me. She laughed, literally laughed. Wow, you're cutting me off over that girl? OMG, I was ready to fight. But my husband calmed me down, said to Claire, if choosing between you and my wife ever felt like a hard decision, I wouldn't deserve her. We're not kids anymore, you need to grow up. I simply do not want to be your friend anymore. I have nothing else to say. telling you he can be a gem sometimes. But yeah, we blocked her and her entire family. Since then, he's been checking in with me, not trying to fix things, just showing up, listening, and understanding. He finally sees what I've been dealing with. We still got some healing to do, but now I know where he stands, and that changes everything for me. Wow, what a good husband. Let's see what the comments say. I'm glad OP finally told her husband what was happening. He sounded completely oblivious, but like he genuinely was concerned and listened. They probably were pissed he showed up to the shoot. I'm of the belief it was staged, so that they could all get in her ear and fill her head with doubts and lies. People with money like that don't need their friends to do them favors that require a 4-hour road trip. I really love a good Reddit story. Loved how the husband reacted in the end. Good on him for supporting his wife like that. And after the rough week I had, this is excellent. And if you reached the end of this video, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to, or go check out some of my other videos on this channel. And like always, stay